Years ago, I made a choice that everybody told me was insane because I didn't go to uni and I bet everything on starting a brand without any bread, no connections, just a job at a supermarket and crazy self-belief. And now the brand's doing multi 8 figures in sales and is worn by some of the best artists and athletes worldwide. The journey to get here has been crazy, to be honest, and nothing like I imagined. So here is what 7 years of chasing my dream looks like. In my final year of school, when I was 18, I got really close to my boy Nima, who was already crushing it online with his own businesses. And he just bare inspired me to start something, and he told me about a bunch of ways I can make money online. On YouTube, I discovered dropshipping, which really fit my budget because I was literally working at Waitrose on minimum wage, and I didn't have enough bread to order stock or take any big risks like that. And after weeks of studying it every day, I started Cernucci as a men's fashion dropshipping brand. And at the start, I was literally selling anything I could, like blazers, wallets, belts, accessories, hats. I was just so obsessed and determined to find something that would work for me and try and get a breakthrough. So shout out to Nima and shout out to YouTube, because the amount of free videos I was watching to help me build the website, the fulfillment, the emails, and literally everything to start off was insane. For a long time, I was paying fashion pages and micro-influencers to do Instagram stories for us to push the website. Some as low as like £5 up to £50, which was crazy at the time. And my old camera roll was just PayPal screenshots of payments to like pages and influencers. Most of this didn't even work and it was bare inconsistent. So through YouTube and Facebook groups, I actually discovered Facebook ads. So I got my phone, some products and my kitchen table, filmed some videos, uploaded it to the ad platform and set a daily budget of £20 a day. Some of the ads started to pop off, particularly on the men's jewellery. And this completely changed the trajectory of the brand, because from that point, I found what people wanted, a consistent way to get attention and a consistent way to get sales and growth. So I just doubled down and went all in. I made Cernucci a men's jewellery brand and I removed all the other products and I just went all in on that. And our Facebook and Instagram ads is still a massive part of the brand today and something we're still always trying to refine, improve and optimize. So it's kind of funny how the thing that got us really going is something that's still such an important part of the business today. When Cernucci was consistent enough and making enough bread, I went full-time, quit my job at the supermarket and moved to Bali for 2 months on my own at 19. This completely changed my life because it was the first time leaving my hometown and being around ambitious people, more successful people, a lot older people and other entrepreneurs as well. So the conversations were just different. I started to learn so much and just be in uncomfortable situations. Like I'd have to go to places and be on my own and approach people and say, yo, I'm here on my own, what's up? Like, what'd you do? Why are you here? And just those uncomfortable situations, like I really grew up, I became a man traveling on my own. So that was absolutely crazy. And while being there, I met so many amazing people and people that were so generous with their advice and their time, and still guys who I'm really close with to this day. So shout out to Bali, man, dope place. With Cernucci growing and becoming more consistent, I became quite nomadic for a while. I moved to Singapore for a few weeks. I lived in Australia for a couple months. But I did have this burning desire to properly get a base somewhere and lock in. And around the same time, I was talking to my boy Matt, and he was in the exact same boat. His business was growing, doing well, but just traveling too much, and it's tough to get a proper routine and get the most out of every day while you're in different time zones and on bare flights all the time. Despite the fact we only actually met once before, we said, yo, let's get a gaff together in London and let's fucking lock in. There are certain moments and seasons I look back on my life and realize how truly pivotal they were for my growth and the brand's growth. And living with Matt was definitely one of them, because when we moved in together, he was levels above me and working on way bigger things. I had a lot more experience and just done a lot more. So he was questioning me like, bro, why the fuck are you working on that? You should have someone remotely helping you with this stuff. You need to just focus on the right things. And hearing about his ambitions for his brands made me completely rethink what I was working on for Cernucci and how far I could take Cernucci and my ambitions in general. So yeah, invaluable experience living with Matt, and we were so competitive. We'd wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, to the point I was having fucking nightmares about waking up after 5 a.m. I'd wake up before my alarm at 4 a.m. in sweats, checking my phone oh, thank fuck, I haven't woken up after Matt. So it was such healthy competition, and it really drove us both, I think, to get to that next level. And I look back so fondly on those days where we were just driving each other to do more and be better. Matt and I are still bare close, and I've actually invested in one of his brands, so it's lit how we can win together as well. And getting an actual base in London was so important because it meant I could build up some social presence and social capital somewhere. Rather than being so nomadic, I was here for 1 week, there for 2 weeks. I wasn't building any deep relationships or an actual name for myself anywhere. So choosing London meant I could do that. And some of those relationships I built in London over time have led to crazy deals and crazy outcomes for the brand in in terms of access and leverage. So that was also a life-changing thing, really just going all in on London. A big setback and lesson along the journey was when I got absolutely cooked by a supplier for a lot of jewelry stock, because we did a big order on a lot of our best sellers, and once it arrived and we were shipping it out, we noticed way more complaints than usual from customers about breakage, about leaving marks on the skin, about some jewelry fading, which is absolute disaster for jewelry. So once we had it double checked in the UK with a proper jewelry testing, we realized there was a lot less quality and plating level that we ordered from our supplier. So it was just a nightmare because we had to refund a bunch of customers. We had a lot of stock that we couldn't sell, had to go back and forth with the supplier. But it was a massive lesson learned in triple checking everything, having a rigorous QC process in place at the factory and in our own warehouse in the UK. And it was a long process, but it's really taught us a lot about QC, making sure we have top process in place, and then it'll never happen again. But yeah, that was long. Another massive lesson was when I had a wham stock order held at customs for almost 3 weeks, just before Black Friday. I had a bunch of bestsellers and newness that I was already teasing on social with dates and stuff. And it was just a nightmare because I had to let a bunch of people down, a bunch of customers down. And a big lesson in just being way more prepared than I think we have to be at all times, because products and stock can always get held up at customs for reasons you don't even know about. And even the political climate of the world, who knows what policies people are going to bring in that's going to mess around with stock and cause delays. So however prepared I think I have to be, I always make sure I'm more, because that gives me the best chance of things going to plan and having the most success. And it's more important than ever for us to make sure we're well prepared, the stock's coming in, because, we're growing, we're a bigger brand, the stakes are higher. So not having stock for 4 to 8 weeks because it's held in customs could be critical, because, we're booking seasons and we're dropping seasonal products. So super important and massive lesson learned that we try to carry out in every single department, just being always more prepared than we think we have to be. Going to China was a big step in our product development, because for the first time, I could see exactly how our jewelry was being made step by step, which helped me understand exactly how we could innovate the jewelry. What plating processes should we be using? What other materials could we use? Even new techniques like adding enamel to the jewelry to make it more colorful, just really opened my eyes to exactly how we can make our jewelry different and stand out a bit more. And beyond even product development, it was so important to build these relationships with the suppliers, see them in person, shake their hand, just to build that relationship and that long-term trust and loyalty. Because while we're growing and we got big stock orders to fulfill, we really need that solid relationship to make sure we can fulfill everything we need to fulfill. We've got a bulletproof supply chain. So going over there and really building out that relationship is such a great investment. And now I'm going to China every 3-4 months to see our suppliers, find new suppliers, check our factories and production and samples. And it's become such a massive part of the brand, is having those strong relationships and going frequently to fuel the growth and fuel the bigger orders and make sure everything's on time and everything is as we want it to be. And they know how to fucking party in China. I've had some benders with our suppliers. I actually waited way too long to make our first hire, who's funnily enough my little sister, on £10 a day doing customer service on emails, on Instagram DMs. And I actually fired her after 3 months because I thought she was too lazy. Because I've always been quite focused on brand and marketing, I wanted the brand to be very consistent in its tone of voice, its humor, its personality, across every department. So it was quite hard to delegate things at first, for sure, because I was worried that some people just wouldn't get it and wouldn't understand exactly how I want the brand to be. But I finally started growing the team, starting off with photographers and videographers, which meant I didn't need to pull up to my friends' houses anymore and ask them to shoot content with my phone and some products. A really important hire I made early on was when I brought in someone to support with operations, which includes warehouse, shipping, freight, returns, supply chain, and all this type of thing, because my skill set's been brand and marketing. So all I wanted to focus on is brand and marketing, and then bring in people who are better than me at these type of tasks, which means the brand can evolve and get to that next level. And it's exactly what happened. And I quickly realized this formula of bringing in great people with a skill set to own and evolve a role is exactly how we're just going to keep getting better and keep growing, to the point now where I've got investors who are absolute goats and can share their advice and wisdom and help with the direction for the brand too. Bringing together this dream team of A players, wisdom, experience is exactly how I'm going to get this brand to fucking legendary status. And I definitely couldn't do it with just me and my sister on £10 a day, bruv. One of the best things I did for myself and the brand was throw in fire parties in London. I had a sick penthouse looking over the river and looking over the city, so I thought, how the fuck do I utilize this? Because it was very expensive rent too, so I need to make use of it, you know? So like almost every 2 weeks I was throwing some fire party and inviting as many people as I could, and people would bring people, the word would get out, and over time it became like a thing, you know? Like we used to throw these fire parties with lit music, free alcohol, and it just became such a vibe. And we had some dope people come, and some people that I even work with now, or some people who have introduced me to certain people who I work with now. So like the butterfly effect of those parties is like so hard to calculate. And there was a point where I took it beyond house parties and started throwing fire parties in clubs as well, when there was artists in London performing, and I wanted to make it like a brand thing. So I'd invite so many people, and those were fucking crazy too. I'll try and show some pictures of the ones I can. The value of renting that fucking sick place and making sure it was a social hub and throwing parties is, I can't even calculate it, because the amount of opportunities it gave me, the access it gave me, even my own reputation, the brand's reputation is like, yeah, who knows where I'd be now, honestly, without some of them parties. The moment we went from being a bedroom brand to an established brand is when I did the licensing deals with the 17 football clubs. So for example, we worked with Chelsea Football Club and created like a Chelsea badge pendant that people could buy. I was literally working with some of the biggest clubs worldwide and national teams. And it's just so mad to think like little Cernucci doing a collection with Barcelona on some jewellery. It was honestly crazy. Like I'd love to tell the story one day about how I actually got these deals. So imagine you find a small brand on Instagram that you like, and you like their content and they're quite niche and you want to gatekeep them a bit. And then the next day they're announcing a collab with the national fucking Brazil team. It's literally what happened with us. And overnight it changed our brand. Like not all of the clubs worked. Some of them actually flopped. Some of them did really well. But nevertheless, all of them supported our brand evolving and completely changing the image of who we are and what we offer. And I can't lie, one of the best feelings was when I had the official Brazil pendants, going to my family in Brazil and giving it to everyone. That was unbelievable. And the big lesson for me from these licensing deals was to always focus on things that other people aren't doing, that are also hard to replicate, things that some people just don't have the minerals for. Off the back of the licensed football collections is the first time we ever experienced famous people wearing our shit, because during the 2021 Euros, Sterling and Saka were wearing that England pendant a lot. And then I think it got around the camp or something, and then we were just getting bare DMs off the players asking for gifting and whatnot. So we sent out a bunch. And then that whole summer, all the players were just wearing Cernucci. And then we started reposting everything, which created a whole nother snowball, because some of these videos would go viral, more people would discover us, we get more DMs from more crazy people, which has led us to now where, you know, Lamine Yamal's wearing our products, Georgia Smith has worn our jewelry. And it's we just get crazy exposure all the time from fire people. Because usually with this stuff, all it takes is one celebrity to rep it and support it, and then everyone else is down to do it as well. And it's interesting because everybody either overestimates or underestimates the impact it can have with someone lit wearing your brand. But if the right person wears it and supports it and looks sick, fuck me. Crazy impact. And we have actually partnered up with some people to create like a collab collection, but most of this stuff just comes organically. Fashion's so simple. Just make fire products and get fire people wearing it. And also it's actually important to make sure you have boundaries with who you do work with or who you give the product to. The wrong famous person can have a very bad impact. So always got to make sure it's authentic and someone you actually fuck with. Across the years, the brand's focused so much on having a great online experience by being entertaining, having a fun personality. But the moment we actually did our first offline pop-up with our customers and community was the moment we went from being an established brand to a certified brand. Because social engagement is one thing, but being able to draw a 500 to 600 person crowd in different cities in the UK for a one-day pop-up just shows how much love people have for the brand and how much people like to be a part of the community. Because I feel like quite a lot of brands are tested when they do their first pop-up, because I feel like you discover if you have a good social media or an actual good brand. And what's so special about these offline moments with our customers is the amount of like ideas and feedback we hear from them is unbelievable. Like what they like, what they don't like, what they want to see from us. And being able to repost the content from pop-ups is, you know, just letting people know, man, we're out here, we're doing our thing. We're coming for everyone. Offline events and moments is going to be a massive part of our future, and it's already part of the strategy for next year and the years beyond. And one of the biggest things that got me here, and that's going to get me to where I want to go, is introducing our clothing. What's funny is that this is actually a full circle moment, because Cernucci started off as a menswear brand selling clothes as well before I focused completely on the jewelry. So yeah, we're back to the clothing. We've got menswear, women's wear, cooking. And how our clothing category has grown and developed in the last 12 months alone is just a warm up for what's coming in the next 12 months. Clothing's given the brand a whole new potential, because some guys don't want to wear jewelry and don't even like jewelry, but everyone has to wear clothes unless you live in the fucking Amazon or something. But yeah, clothing's been a massive part of this brand evolving, and it's going to be a massive part of the future. But it's not to like ignore at all jewelry. Jewelry is still our DNA. It's why we're special. What makes us different to other clothing brands too. So we're always going to put as much focus into our jewelry collections and development as we are into the clothing. So I see them both as monster opportunities. And yeah, it's not just going to be clothing and jewelry. Like Cernucci is going to sell some crazy shit one day. So those are some things that have completely changed my life and the brand's life and got us to where we are right now. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it insightful and useful. And make sure you subscribe and like so you can be a part of the future and be a part of or see how myself and the brand's evolving as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed.